Let's open our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Pass it down.
Roll call, please.
Lois Tiley. Here. Diana Coots.
Here.
Christine Newman.
Here.
Richard Horner.
Here.
Jim McPhail. Absent. Diane Dennis.
Here.
And Sarah Tiley. Here.
You have before you the agenda for tonight. Are there any adjustments? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
I have one adjustment for item B under Spicer Engineering Report. Fulton Road and Hosmer Street paving.
Anything else?
No.
Motion to approve the agenda is corrected, amended.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Public announcements. Public comments. Step up to Mike. Is it on? It's on.
Good evening, council. My name is Caleb Braun. I live over on Sunday. Can you hear me well?
You're
I'm
good.
getting there.
What I'm here for is talk to you about, I spoke with Dennis about this last week, but I have a water bill issue. I had my water read and they said that I've used 147,000 gallons more than normal in the last 3 months period. So I had received my bill. They told me to wait and get the bill, talk to Dennis about it, and then come talk to you guys because there's nothing you can do about it after this. So when I got the information from the village and talked to them about it, my meter has not been read since last November. So I've had 2 estimates on that, and according to your guys' ordinance, I'm supposed to be notified before then as an estimate's done. So I've not received any notice that my bill meter's been estimated. Now, he had asked if I did have a water leak. So I did have a water leak that went about 6 hours, but 6 hours is not gonna put 147,000 gallons into the crawl space of my house, or I wouldn't have a house left. That's a lot of water. So, at this point, I'd like to talk to you guys about what we can do to settle this. I feel as if the department, the DPW, or the billing system is not right and failed me. We put on our water bills that we preach that, the water, watch out for water leaks, excessive water usage, and who knows how long this has been going on. Enough to rack up a $769 bill when I wasn't notified.
Do you know when the water leak happened?
Yes, yep, I do know when the water leak happened. My wife got up with our daughter in the middle of the night and said I heard something when I was feeding her. She told me in the morning, so I figured it was about 6 hours, and I went underneath the house, shut it, repaired it. It was about a 1/16 of an inch hole inside a water line spraying straight up to the bottom of my floor. So if I put 147,000 gallons at the bottom of my wood floor, you're definitely gonna note it.
Well,
Was it
like when did that happen?
2 weeks ago, a month ago?
It was beginning of July,
But you haven't been read since last
November.
November.
I have the bill. I have the detailed report right here. If you guys would like to see it.
Detailed report?
Yep, this has come from the village.
Sure, okay.
You guys can see here. I'll show you. It said the actual last time it was. The A is gonna be the actual red was
Yep.
11/14/18. There's been 2 estimates since then.
And doesn't your water bill say it's an estimate?
So that's the caveat to this. So I pulled 2 bills that I have. Nowhere on this bill does it say anything about it being an estimate.
Can I see it?
There's a 110E, but there's nothing on there that says what the
Oh.
E is for on the bill.
Mhm.
There's tons of codes, but there's nothing that represents what the E or the code stands for.
Yeah, it's an estimate.
I have one from there, and then I got one from,
It
looks
doesn't
like the
say
second
it's an
quarter.
estimate, no. They already gave you a credit for your sewer.
That was automatically, they talked about that and said they were gonna do that, so I
Yeah,
wanna
it
come
didn't
in
go through your sewer, so they give you a credit back for that.
if that's what was actually used, I mean, we don't know,
You think there's something wrong with your meter?
I don't know. No clue, I asked Dennis when I talked to him, do we know if the meter's good, has it been tested? He wasn't sure, when the DPW was there that day, we turned on a faucet in the back, because they actually woke me up, I come off night, they woke me up. And we turned on a faucet out in the back, and then to make sure that the water was spinning in there, so I don't know if that's their test, I have no clue.
No,
He
I
did
don't
inform
think
me.
that's the
You know,
test.
they're guaranteed plus or minus 1% from the factory. I
Right,
mean, if you wanna request a test, we can have a company come out and do one. And if they find the meter's in error, we would pay for the test and credit the bill, but if it comes back that the meter's correct, you would have to
I
pay.
Then
think
you
the
have to
point
pay.
is though, there's no way that he could physically use that amount of water and not, I mean, it would have flooded his entire crawl space up into his house.
I don't know
no,
if
that's not
looking-
true.
100 and
That's
how
not
many
true.
thousand gallons of water?
It's not
Over how
true.
many months though?
147,000
It's not true,
gallons
that
of
whole
water.
thing over there is a sand hill, it just go down into the ground, that's what it's gonna do.
There's no way his sump pump could have ever kept up with that.
No, it wouldn't have, it just goes
No.
into the ground.
There's no way.
It happens. This
I
does,
highly doubt this.
So, according to our ordinance, I'd have to be notified before, so I'm on my second, at least it'll be the third billing cycle and I haven't been notified, that the bill was estimated.
There was
As-
2 cycles, I think, that were estimated, we were having.
two, on here, there's two that were estimated.
And when
That's 6 months.
When I spoke with Dennis, he had said that there was issues with the meters, the actual reading machine with the meters.
But not reading them, it wasn't getting inaccurate readings. The new.
Did you go out and reread it and make sure
They
I got
did.
it right?
They reread it, that's all.
Okay. Yeah, usually what happens in this situation is we give you credit back on the sewer. And yes, there is a way that this water could go through there and not be noticed. Usually it's found the way your wife found it. That doesn't mean it happened that night. That means that's the first time she heard it.
So if it was leaking prior to that, that's something that I should have been notified more with.
Well, we don't know it's leaking though.
According to your guys' bill on here, it says, a dripping faucet and other suspected leaks may cause high bill.
Yeah.
So it says, watch your bill and,
Yeah.
and make sure and look. I had notification, none. So
But we
either
don't-
we're not practicing what we preach and what we put on our
I'm sure
stuff,
they,
or it's
did
not.
you notify him as soon as you found this huge bill in there? Did somebody call him and tell him?
They come to my door. That's
Okay.
how I found out.
That's
about
how
this
we
after-
notify you, that's
after
how
the
we
fact.
find it when we read it. Other than that, we don't know if you have a water leak or not.
But if it would have been
You
right,
should be able to hear it in the house if water's running.
oh, trust me, I know how that all works.
Okay.
They have water in a large amount every day.
So,
But if the meter would have been read correctly, we wouldn't have had this issue. It wouldn't be a $800 bill.
well, don't we usually, where's your meter at?
Right out in the front yard.
In the
Easy
winter
to-
time though, under the snow,
Oh, easy to get to.
but under the snow,
It's a
So,
meter pit.
it's a meter pit. So it probably is always estimated one time a year, right?
Sometimes, we try not to, but
Okay. Why would this been, estimated twice?
the one time we were having issues with the new reader, it was, they thought they said it was taking it in the field, but somehow when they downloaded it, some meters were coming up.
Okay, and they estimated you
But
at,
they come back and physically reread it the last time.
they estimated you at 6,000 gallons. When did you move in there?
August last year.
Okay, so we really only had one read from you.
That would have
One
been the
real read from
initial
them.
read. And we pulled the history, I meant the other lady, we pulled the history of my usage from my old house and
Yeah.
then the usage prior of at that house.
Did you only use 6,000 gallons
Yeah, it
then
was
too?
barely ever made the minimum with that. The 6,000 gallon.
Okay.
It's only 2 of us, and I got a 3-year, soon to be 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. And we're gone 12 hours a day.
I'm not, saying that you used that much water. I'm saying you had a leak and unless you want the meter checked, that's what we do. We hire someone to come in to really run a check with that meter.
So if you guys failed on your own ordinance, who falls on that?
I don't see where we failed on our ordinance. We don't know you have a leak until we find it in this billing
The ordinance
cycle.
states that if a meter is estimated, that the homeowner is to be notified of the estimate.
Yeah, there's an E right here.
Does that anywhere in that
Okay,
bill
but
say
in
that?
here, it says that if a homeowner is estimated, the person doing the reading is to notify with a sticker on the homeowner's door that their bill was estimated. That never happened.
The ordinance has a sticker?
Yes, I'm just trying to find where I
Huh.
read it already.
That's new.
I never
on the
knew about
ordinance.
that.
That
And because it
ordinance book
says
is
that the
bad.
I never
homeowner
knew
then
that.
has,
I haven't seen that.
because some people don't have like,
Usually we find the breaks when we do the reads and the bills come out, and then whoever's looking over the bills will find those leaks and notify the people right away that they have a leak.
So my problem is, if it was leaking way back, we would've known about it earlier. I wouldn't have it on the bill. If it would've been red. if
Well,
we
I
would've said
understand
we
what
had-
you're
if we
saying.
said
I
we
do,
would've got an
I do
estimate,
understand what you're saying, but somebody has to pay for this whatever it is, 147,000 gallons of water. And if you don't pay for it, then we pay for it, because it's gotta be paid for. It went through a meter.
So is that fault on my part that,
It
you
is
guys-
kind of,
that-
if you didn't
the
hear it running under your house,
The
and
Department of Water, or wherever we have here.
we don't
didn't-
go check for
Didn't,
leaks.
didn't do their job on reading the meter when they should have, or notifying me.
I don't think there's a guarantee
Or
anywhere
that
that
your,
we will
or
read
that
your
your bill
meter.
does not clearly state on there that that was estimated.
Well, it does have an E.
That is not, that E means nothing on there. You have an explanation of codes and
It
a
has
code's
an
let off
actual
of
and
that.
it has an estimate.
If the E's on there and there's an explanation of codes and nowhere on there does it say what the E stands for on the back, that's not even as good as what it's wrote on. I wanted to give a fair chance to come here and talk to you guys about it, and hopefully you'd understand. I don't want, last things this village needs is another black eye. Especially if now we're gonna raise water rates over this, not a big deal. I'm full supporter of, the infrastructure in this town needs to be maintained, but as a citizen, when you start getting blindsided by something like this, when the village is supposed to be looking out for you, and you feel like they're not, and now suddenly it falls into your lap because they failed,
Yes, I don't,
I
I
understand
don't-
why you're upset and frustrated.
do.
I would be too, okay, to put that, to how to solve it, I'm not sure. You've been up and you've talked to Mr. Collison.
I tried to go through the chain of command. That's why I spoke with Don that day. You were up here. And then, Don said we had to talk about it. They said we should probably talk to Dennis. I met with Dennis. We talked with Dennis. And then Dennis said he can't do much for me other than maybe make work at a payment plan. And I'm not in the mindset to take a payment plan on this. I'm in the mindset to walk out of here today and settle with you guys.
oh, well, that,
I've already taken work off for tonight, losing time just to straighten this out.
but unfortunately, the water went through your meter. And that means you used it somewhere. We don't
Do we
know
know the
where.
water went through my meter? Are we 100% sure the water went through my meter?
I would be, yes.
We have proof that 100% sure that water went through my meter.
Only if you test it, that's up to you. It's your property.
So you're gonna leave it on me?
How much would it cost to have it tested, does anybody
I
know?
haven't looked recently, it's probably, time you get them up here, it's probably $100 to have them come up here and test it. That would be for the service call.
Do you wanna, because I do not wanna pay the $100 to have it tested when I already feel like I've been, blindsided on this month. If you wanna walk out of here and set up today, we start as fresh, fresh slate. And I recommendation, we put a code on here for explanation on E, because once this gets out to light, which is gonna after tonight, you're gonna have more people coming in here and saying, look, this says E, that means nothing, estimation. I wasn't properly notified. This
Well, I
goes
don't
out in front of
understand the
everybody.
properly notified, because I've never read it anywhere. And as soon as Sarah finds it, she'll let us know
Yeah,
where it
I'm
is.
just looking, I'm missing a couple pages in here because I know.
You're missing a couple pages?
Yeah, well, see, when I got here, I had to kind of put everything back together because my binder came undone. So I'm trying to-
Which ordinance book are you looking at?
The one that I was given?
Her ordinance
The
book.
big ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't ever remember, I've been around here and in the planning commission and we've done ordinances, I don't ever remember that sticker thing.
Well, because
I mean,
it said
that's
in
what
there
it is.
that,
Do you?
well, it said in there that they're supposed to put a sticker on your door. That way the homeowner can put the accurate read on, like for my meter, because I don't have an electronic meter. I've got a meter inside my house that says the numbers. And they're supposed to notify me so that I can write that on there and bring it up to the village office before the 5th day of the next month. Is exactly what it read when
Okay,
I
but
read
that's
it.
a different situation.
No, it's if
They
the meter
can't get into your
cannot,
house to get to your meter, right?
in general, if it said in there that if it was
Yeah, he
estimated,
doesn't
there's-
have that kind
no,
of
but it
situation.
said in there either way that,
Not either way, I think you misread it.
So it was estimated though, but I was never given the opportunity to do the DPW's job and read my own meter. Ain't no different there.
There is
Well,
a
you can
provision
look
for
at-
that, cause I used to have to do it.
Yeah.
You couldn't get into my basement,
Exactly.
but they didn't,
We don't
Like I said, it
have,
was in
we
the-
have readers that remote read now.
Yeah, now they
Correct.
remote read, so.
The only
everybody-
way we don't read them is if a wire comes unhooked in the house or something.
Okay.
So if it wouldn't have been, so it didn't register in remote read, that meter, you should've went back and read that meter. How many do you have on average that you don't get to read, or have we had?
They went, at this time, they went back, every meter that was estimated, they went back and manually read. If it would give them a reading, the ones where there was a break in the wires and we couldn't get in the house.
I'm sorry, I went through.
And that comes up, you can't get ahold of people, and those are the only ones that are estimated.
So what
Okay,
about
but
the
there's
ones that
nothing
you go through with your meter and now it says you get a hit that says, okay, you got a reading, get back here, and now you don't have a reading?
No, I don't like to. be-
So do you go back
No, they
and,
run a report that
No, I
says
don't either.
estimated ones. and
so you just, so then we just go out the estimate, we don't go back and verify?
We take the,
It'd be, huh?
she runs a report, the estimated ones, they go back with a different gun and physically reread them, and the ones that they get a reading, they write that reading down. The ones that don't read because there's a break in the wire, we try to get hold of them,
Yeah.
sometimes we can't, sometimes.
Right, and.
So I didn't
no,
have
but, yeah,
mine come
never-
back and read twice after it was estimated.
They have
Surprised it doesn't say E on
Go home and get my
it.
But everybody knew, I
But
mean,
that
when we
doesn't
look
mean
at
that
our
there's a-
water bills, we knew it was estimated and actual.
And I'm not saying it's
Well, see,
wrong,
that's
or
what
right.
it says.
If you want it tested, we can.
Yeah.
I know.
It's either an actual or.
And I'm not paying a nickel more for it.
Can you go to these meters and read them yourselves, even if they're remote read? Can you go,
You can physically, if you can get to them, you can physically.
so like if
read
they're
them.
in your basement or whatever, you can read them?
Right, you can read them to the gallon. If you can see the head of the meter, yes.
this one has never been manually read or tried to manually.
It was manually read with a gun.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. They got a reading here, it's an actual.
That was just this, that's
Yeah,
when we
that's
noticed the
this
I mean,
issue.
that is a
This
through
is
a
your
remote
current
or
bill.
nothing,
That's a true reading off the head of the meter.
Yeah,
right off the head of the
Because
meter.
if it can scan it, it reads it. Like if someone unhooks a wire, it doesn't matter what's going, once they rehook it, it gets the actual read off.
It catches up.
It doesn't, there's no catching up.
Well,
It takes the read
it
off.
only
the-
reads the meter.
Right, it takes the actual read off the meter.
I'm gonna tell you, this happens rarely, but it does happen. And every time it has happened before, the person has been responsible for the water. We have taken off the sewer because it didn't go through the sewer, therefore it doesn't count, so we don't charge you for the sewer. And we have agreed to make payment plans, over a whole year if you want to, we don't care, because whatever's still left on it at the end of the year, I believe just goes against the taxes,
So
doesn't it?
whatever decision you make, I want to hear it come out of your mouth then that E on there is a clear explanation that the bill's been estimated as representation for this council.
No, I can't attest to that because I know that's what it is, and that's different.
yeah, but if you're not
But
on the
if I
council, you
get
don't
a-
know that.
No, yeah.
No, that's not true.
no.
Really?
you do.
No, because that could mean electronic, it could be an electronic read.
Actual.
It
And what
doesn't
does the
matter.
A- What does
With
the
the
A
E on
mean
it,
to
I
you?
know.
Okay, I get it, because I understand what it means. However, there's people in our village that don't understand that.
No,
Just because you do doesn't mean other people don't, like, they may not. He didn't know that it meant estimated.
I thought, well, I know Maryland Reed minimum, 114, I come in here, I still got this stub, cause half the time I don't have the bill with me when I come in. I look at the bill, when I get it at home, I walk over, I pay the bill.
I'm sure that up until now, you just walked in here and paid the bill because it was the same
Exactly. I
thing
look
as
at
it's
this,
always been.
Look at this, what is it, it's 114,
Yeah.
okay, it's good, I know,
I know, I
nothing
understand
abnormal.
that.
I think part of the problem in thinking this through, at least from my point of view, we are charged for that water from Saginaw. So the village is charged for that water, okay, even though it was a leak or whatever. So that means, if you're requesting the village to pay for it, so that means that the taxpayers throughout the entire village would have to pay for your leak.
So who's gonna, what,
And that causes, so you're gonna have people angry about that. Well, why should I have to then pay for a leak in this other guy's house? I understand why you're upset. I'd be very, very upset too if it were me. And I feel really bad. I don't know what the solution is here. I don't have a solution for you. But I do see it that it's very complex. And that ordinance, I'm not familiar at all with that. Now, we've been here in this village since 1967, okay? And when our bills come out, we knew that E meant estimated and that A meant actual. You know what I mean? It's just been a part of, my husband will always say, he'll look at the bill and say, oh my gosh, they estimated our bill. You know, he wonders how bad it'll be the next time they read it and it'll be actual. Because that was just something that everybody knew. I don't know why it's not on the bill. I really don't
On the
know.
back.
So legally, can
On
you
the
charge
back.
somebody for a service if the bill is not clearly defined?
Well, we can charge you for the water, yes. But it is clearly defined. I mean, as far as, when I'm looking at this, it is clearly defined. It's got a big thing on the back that says stop the leaks. I'm just gonna say to this council that's sitting here, if you make some kind of an agreement with Mr. Brown, it's gonna be forever with everybody, because that's the way it's gonna be. We have never, ever changed a water bill. They've always been due.
Yeah.
Even when we
I
had
had a
someone,
huge one.
even when we had someone who didn't bill properly, and all those huge water bills went out
Oh,
after
we
that
got caught in
happened.
that and we had to pay. Yeah,
And
we
that
did.
was, the only thing
I
that
can
we
tell
did
you
with
that.
that
That's
was,
years
we
ago,
gave them
but we
12
did.
years to, or 12 months to pay
Yeah.
it. You know, the water went through your meter and the only way you can prove
What are we
that
gonna do?
it didn't go through your meter is to test your meter and see if it's reading wrong, but if they would go back like in tomorrow and read it again and see how far it's gone since the last time, that's a good enough test to see if it's still going through like it shouldn't. You know, then you'll get an idea of what it's reading now.
So what is this village council gonna do to make sure Sally Sue, the 85-year-old woman on the other side of town, that this doesn't happen to her?
Oh, they don't.
Oh, they're not, cause
Believe
it's all
me,
money,
it
that's all
happened
that
to
matters.
me. It happened to me. I had a huge bill too.
So how are we
And I had to
how are
pay.
we gonna tighten up the ordinance to make sure that if it says it was estimated, are we gonna go back and, you know, I mean, we shouldn't have tons of them that are estimated if we have an electronic reading system.
We
If
don't.
Well, I don't think we
And you
do.
don't, you
So,
don't have that.
Why
I
aren't
don't
we
think we
going
do.
back and reading those?
We are the ones that we can, we do read.
So this didn't happen on mine, are we just saying we don't, we do, it did happen, it happened, that's why I'm here, it happened.
I see it
I
happen.
know.
So what are we gonna do in our ordinance, or what are we gonna do to tighten up ship here and make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else in our village?
You're asking us how we're gonna stop leaks from underneath the house,
No,
and
no.
I don't know.
I'm not asking how you're gonna stop leaks, I'm asking how are you gonna make sure that if somebody's bill's estimated, when, because the village equipment that they're using failed to read, who's gonna make sure that it's went back and somebody's actually put their physical eyes on it and read it?
We can't put our physical eyes on it if it's in your house,
Okay, so it's not in your house, it's in your front yard, easily accessible.
and we go back and reread the ones that we can. Get a read
We
on it.
didn't though, we didn't with mine, they say what we were doing.
Where is his?
It's a meter pet.
Okay.
I'm sure the one in the winter was because of the weather.
It was, that was when we had the ice storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we used to never read in the winter, we just estimated everybody.
Yeah, ours isn't, I
And then
know,
went to
it's
seed,
not,
but-
because the snow piles in the front yard and
So
the
that's-
snow piles up
That's
there.
one, we'll take
Yeah,
one off there, what
that's-
about the other one?
That was when we
I
had the
don't know.
water breaks. When they had the water breaks, they didn't have time to go back
Right.
and do the extra reads.
Oh, yeah.
That was when Fulton and Flint had their issues.
So,
So
Okay.
it was two back to back, it was
so the
just
buck got
terrible.
passed on to the citizens because we couldn't find time?
I'm just,
Well, no, you didn't hear the water running in your house, and therefore you had a lot of water run through it.
But she said that they failed to go read because they were dealing with the water.
Well, they read them
leaks
once,
inside.
and it must have not read the first time,
Yeah.
right?
right.
I'm just saying, what I'm trying to get to here is I felt like I was royally blindsided by this. And I'm not gonna be the only one that this happens to if this
Mm-mm.
continues.
Well, okay.
I wanna know, what do we gotta do to settle this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's settled. You owe the money, we'll make a payment arrangement.
Previous guidelines, we'll have to live by them at this time. I
But
know,
that's
like
just
you say,
me.
I know of several people that have,
The problem
over
with
the period of
changing
many,
it for
many years.
you is that, and historically this has happened, if we change it for one person, anybody who got caught in this before is going to be back in here screaming and yelling, how come Mr. Brown, you know,
Got a
gets his
break.
break and
So
I had to pay,
Do
you know?
you think this is right, this whole situation, how it's all handled?
Yeah, we do.
I think it's troublesome terrible for you, and if it were me, it would be troublesome terrible for me. So I'm not gonna say that it's right, I just say that it's a horrible thing that happened to you, and you didn't know that you had the leak and it happened. I would be very upset if I got a bill like that. It would be like, how are we expected to pay this amount of money? And it's not, I don't think anybody here on this council is, how do I say, callous toward your situation. I just don't see any way out of it. If that water went through, we have to, the village pays Saginaw. You know, we see right in our financial
Oh, yeah,
reports,
I know how that all
every
works
month,
very well.
Saginaw bills us for water, we have to pay that. So somebody has to pay for that water. So I'm saying that in my world, I will hear people that I know say, how come we're gonna pay for that brown guy's water? You know, I mean, don't we pay enough already on our own water bills and our own taxes? So we have a situation here that's just pure plain difficult, and I don't know. Now, they talk about payment arrangements, and I know people do come up and make payment arrangements. And I do think our guys could go out and read that meter again to see if there's still a problem out
We
there.
have reread it.
They were back up.
We have reread it, and how was it working then?
They'd use 1,000 gallons.
So it's back to the normal.
So it's normal then. I wish I could, I honest to goodness wish I had some easy solution for you. I really do. I look at this as just a huge gigantic problem all the way around. It's not an easy thing.
I think we're going to have to handle it as we have in the past without setting a precedent. Or you're gonna have to either make arrangements or let it go onto your taxes. That's up to you.
So who do you want me to make arrangements with, and what's a
You
reasonable
will-
arrangement for you?
You can meet with the village manager and set up your arrangements and
So I'm kinda limited on my time, so if I don't have to do 3-4
Well,
different meetings with them.
You
how
can
long
run it
ago?
over a year if you want, and just
Is that it's a year? So I can do,
a year?
What is it?
How
I
much
don't
is that?
700. Or 700.
So it'd be about
That's a lot of
60
money.
$60 a month,
That's a lot.
is that right?
I don't know. 700?
6408 a month?
Twelve into that.
They always believe in working with people a little bit. I don't know.
I
but
mean, there would
that-
be,
Can you work something
the
out with
arrangement
them?
would include, no late charges, no sewer charges on that, water.
Okay. The Department of Public Works shall give notice of approximate date when the water meters are to be read in each district, and each water meter shall be made available to the meter reader so that the reading can be taken, and if the meter reader is unable to get to the meter in order to take a reading, he shall therefore leave the address, and a printed card should be a printed card which is printed in such a manner that anyone can mark thereon the reading as appears in their meter, and shall be the duty of the property owner to make the card, to mark the card so that the showing of it has the actual reading on the meter, and have the card so marked delivered to the village clerk on or before the 5th day of the month following the end of the quarter. If the homeowner then fails or neglects and refuses to do so, the reader deliver the reading to the village clerk. He shall then be billed for the sum equal to the highest reading of his meter within an 18-month period, and the next meter reading, the bill may be adjusted to the amount of water that was actually used, provided that amount shall not be less than or minimum of charge. So he
But-
should have been notified
No.
with a card.
No,
It says it in
You're
our
reading it.
ordinance.
Hold it.
stop it, you're reading it wrong.
No, I'm
You are
not.
reading, yes, you are. You're reading it pertaining to a person where we cannot get to his meter.
Right.
They have been to this meter. They have physically read the meter. That's not the issue. The issue was the water apparently went through the meter.
It'd be like if you couldn't get in
If
a
you
house.
guys, so
and
if
yours
the
was-
village can't read it, it's a sole responsibility of, if the village can't get your meter, it's
If
a
the
sole.
meter is in the basement or someplace when your house is
Yeah,
locked
but
up,
this isn't.
it's your responsibility to read the meter.
Correct.
Consumers is the same way.
Yeah.
Correct, oh yeah, exactly, 100% correct there.
Mhm.
But if the village fails to read the meter and they just say it's okay, we're gonna estimate, we're not gonna write the numbers down, now it's the homeowner's responsibility without being notified.
Yes.
Yes.
They send you a bill, you're gonna get a bill regardless of whether it's estimated or actual, but,
So if my meter,
It
if I
does-
tuck my
it
meter
does
under my
say
house
E.
somewhere, then you're gonna send me a card and I'm gonna go down and read it every time. But if I rely on the village to come through and read my meter and it fails to read, they're just gonna say 6,000 gallons, we'll go on to the next one.
But normally, you have to admit, normally that would have been okay. It's just that you had a break.
So
And
what I'm arguing
so-
is it shouldn't have went this long. You shouldn't have had, there shouldn't be
That's not our-
147,000
that's
gallons.
not our
Okay,
responsibility.
so
Should have been
let's
notified
say
in the
this.
last one.
I personally know a resident in this village who has a water leak, and their faucet drips and drips and drips. More, I think, let's see, I remember when I talked to him, at least 2 or 3 5-gallon buckets full of water every day, and his bill isn't even close to that.
So what's your point?
The point is, he's got a leak, and his bill is still not as much as what Caleb's bill is.
I don't understand that reason.
He has a leak in his house, in his
He has a
bathroom.
leak under his house.
No, I'm saying this person that I personally know
Okay,
has
fine.
a leak.
Yeah, but
Well, then he's
that's a
paying
drip
for
drip.
water that he shouldn't be paying for.
That's a
But
faucet drip.
back to you.
as opposed
Yours
to
was a,
water.
more of a break than a leak, I would assume, to get this much through.
Oh, no.
And
No, 16th inch of leak going straight to my wood floor.
onto your wood floor?
Correct. I have wood floors in my house that was shooting straight up onto my wood floor. So if I'd have dumped 147,000 gallons into that, I'd have buckled wood floors. I wouldn't have a.
Okay, so you're containing the meter is wrong. You
I
are,
don't know. I don't know if the meter's wrong. What I'm
well,
saying is,
it's
if,
gotta be.
if this water went through and it hit your wood floor and it didn't,
So
do
I-
whatever they do, you're saying that it didn't go through, so therefore you're saying the meter is incorrect.
I'm upset. This is where I'm wrong. This is what upsets me is the village failed to do their job on notifying me the last time this was estimated for the second time in a row, and the bill wouldn't be that high. If I got a bill 2 cycles ago that would have said I had a $300 water bill, that would have been a light bulb to start looking. I didn't get that.
But you can't say for sure when the leak occurred.
No.
You never know.
No, right, I'm saying, but you don't know if if it occurred, would have occurred between, even if the last one was the actual now, the bill would have, the leak
So
would have been the same.
1,600 gallons in 3 months. 1,600 gallons a day for 3 months. You know,
The only way to know for sure is test the meter.
That's the only thing we have to measure it with, so.
We'll hire an independent person, if you request it, we'll test it, and whatever comes back, it is, it is. That's what they do, that's.
Is that what
their
you
job.
desire?
I'm not paying a dime for anything.
Well, I don't know about that, but,
If you wanna make arrangements on a payment we can settle on, we can do that.
What kind of arrangements would you like?
And I'm gonna put in a recommendation that we update this water bill and look at our ordinance on how we do that.
I think we definitely can take a look at the water bill. I think we can do that and see how that is. I mean, my point of it, I think are you a new water user? Because, I mean, we've
Oh,
looked
no.
at those bills and
I mean-
seen E and A for, cause I remember even asking my husband at one point, what are these letters? You
grew
know,
up
what
in
are
this
they?
village.
And he said,
Yeah,
because I'm not
you grew
from
up.
here, that it's A or E, right? It's estimated or it's actual. I don't know, I suppose, you know, we could take a look at that, but I mean, I think pretty much everybody knows when they look at their bill. But I'm surprised that you didn't, I guess. That's-
especially where it's by the measurement itself.
Right. So, I suppose we could take a look at that and talk about what we could do. It's not, what do you say, it's not on the back on the code?
So are we, I
It
mean,
doesn't define it, is what he's saying.
are we saying that, you guys are, as a counselor, are in agreement that this situation was handled in the correct fashion according to our ordinance?
According to past procedure.
Past procedure
According
or
to
our
our
ordinance?
ordinance.
And according
Ordinance,
to-
that's what
and
Sarah's
according
talking
to-
about, is a
That's the
different
ordinance.
thing.
Yeah,
That's what Sarah's talking about is a different situation.
Okay, we're not talking about that, this
Okay.
situation,
Yeah.
my situation. You guys
I
feel like
understand what
you guys
you're-
feel like you understand the whole situation?
I absolutely do.
Yes.
You're saying, and I'm guessing, that you didn't even notice the E or the A until you got a bill that was crazy.
Till they knocked on my door and told me that you,
Oh, we came to you and told you, you didn't get this bill. This bill wasn't even sent to you, right?
no, it was after they realized that their meter had broke, which is why reason why.
No,
I
no,
said
they didn't realize the meter broke. They realized that too much water went through your meter and that you had a break. That's how those breaks are found.
When Jenny downloaded the info, she caught it as a hot.
Yeah. There's, the computer actually kicks them out as, this is way off what it should be.
And then she notified us, and the guys went and knocked down his door.
So we came to you right away and told you that you had a break.
Oh, I mean, by
Somewhere.
right away, you mean 6 months later, sure.
No, from the time that we did an actual reading, this bill right here.
6 months later.
Yeah, but it's this billing that
Yeah,
caught
that's,
it.
that's the bill that caught it,
Yeah.
6 months later.
Okay, you know, I guess you want us to define E and A on the back of the bill. And we could certainly look into that when we order new bills.
Yes. But
I
Jen-
mean, I kind of agree with him, it probably
It
should be
should be
back
on
there, just to see. I don't know how many bills we have left right now,
I
but,
have to look, I think we got a box or two, but
yeah, we go through them pretty quickly. So, yeah, that would, I agree with you there, it should be on the back, but I don't think it would have helped you in this situation. Yeah, what kind of arrangements are you willing to
Do you,
make?
do you understand what would have helped me though?
What?
No, being notified 2 cycles ago, the first time when it was estimated.
No, it's notified because it's got the E on the bill.
Do you know what would have helped me with not having?
Because
any-
last time you would have had 2 E's on the bill.
Do you know what would have notified me, or you would have notified me beforehand, instead of having an $800 bill, it might have been maybe a $300 bill?
But
So
we-
you're thinking you. that
You're
if-
thinking everybody that
If
gets,
it was. If it
you're
was.
thinking everybody that gets an E on their bill is gonna get this outrageous bill at the end. Most of the time, people don't even notice the transition from one to the other.
They might
And you
not.
wouldn't have either
So
if you
in
wouldn't
my-
have had the
in
water
my
break.
situation where, say, I did use that water, I would have known that
Well, I
when
don't
I
think
got my
you
bill
used
last
it.
time, that it would have been more than what I averagely use.
Yep,
That would have been a red flag. I had no opportunity to be notified. I had no opportunity that there was a red flag going on.
but we had no opportunity to notify you because we
Yes, you
didn't, we
did.
didn't know.
Yes, you did. You had an opportunity to read my meter correctly, and my meter was not read correctly.
Okay.
Well, we're obviously not getting any place
No.
in this discussion.
I would
About
suggest
the
you
only
come,
thing from what it sounds like from this council's discussion so far, that it's up to you to make a arrangement to reimburse the village for that amount of water. And again, they give you months to do it, and not on a short period of time, but I mean, you know, a reasonable payment per quarter.
I personally think, whoever said $64.03 or whatever it was, that's pretty high every month, because you're still gonna keep paying the water bill.
Yeah.
As it comes in 3 more months, you're gonna pay it again.
I think you should make some really lenient payment arrangements with them, I do. That's my point.
That's why I'm asking you, what do you feel, and don't answer with, I can't afford to pay you anything. What do you think you could have paid monthly, until this is gone?
If you give the authorization for me to meet up with Dennis and talk it over with him, I'll make an arrangement.
Okay.
And we'll figure out a dollar amount.
All right.
And if,
If you guys,
You
if as a
feel-
council, you'll give Dennis the full authorization to make that, within a reasonable amount. I'm not gonna come in here and say it'll be a penny of, it's not gonna be a penny of,
Understand.
right,
an extra penny a quarter, you know?
but I
And we
think,
will have the bills changed at the next reorder.
Yeah, we will, on the designation on
It
the.
is a good,
AED.
it is a decent point.
Will you revisit the ordinance itself too and make
Okay,
sure that
so-
that's tidy?
We're,
Yeah, because that whole ordinance book is going to, next year, we're going to budget for an entire ordinance review, because that book
That
is
book
not
is-
the
that
way
book is-
it is supposed to be. I don't know who authorized that, but, and we've all been, I think most of us have been caught. Phyllis said she'd been caught, we got caught in this situation where they weren't billing us correctly. And this has been, oh my gosh, years, and this is before you were even manager. And all of a sudden, we got this thing in the mail that it was horrendous, and I mean, I'm talking horrendous, that we owed, up here at the village office. And we had to come up and talk to the manager at that time about it, and we weren't the only one. There were several people caught in that. So in terms of understanding that all of a sudden you've gotta come up with all this money, you get understanding from me, because we had to do it.
I had
And
the same thing happen when I lived down there on Sunview.
Right,
I
and
had
it
a
just
meter
so,
line break.
and
half
Lois
of the
had. it-
town,
And mine
okay,
was
it happened to half of the
underground
town.
after the meter, before the house.
And it
So
was
you couldn't hear
horrible.
it. It was just,
So I-
and that
so
sand
I-
hill, like
I-
she says, it soaks it up.
I have a lot of understanding for what it is you're going through, but I think if we, with all of the issues that I look at with it, I think if you come and talk to Collison and make a payment arrangement then, and try to get something that's workable for you, because that's a lot of money. I agree with you, that's a lot of money.
Well, if you would come in and pay what you normally pay, $116 maybe,
14.
Well, it depends on what whatever your bill is. This month, like you would normally do, that'll bring you down to 600 and something, and then make arrangements on that, and then go from there. I mean,
You understand, you take your regular bill.
You're gonna
off
pay it
that amount,
anyway, so you
As
might as
long
well.
as you guys are, as long as you guys have your decisions set, that's fine, we'll move forward from there.
Well, we haven't voted on anything, but I don't know
Yeah,
if we need
this isn't
to.
anything that we'll
So
vote
No,
on.
I mean, as long as you guys got it down, she's got good notes, I'm sure, and I'll pass that along to my superiors, so.
Is the meter getting tested then?
No, he doesn't want his meter tested.
I just said I wasn't paying for it.
Because it says that a consumer may require that the meter be tested. If the meter is found accurate, then a charge will be made as prescribed by the resolution of the village council. However, if the meter is found defective, it shall be repaired, or an accurate meter will be installed and no charge shall be made.
That's what we
So,
told
That's the
him.
same thing.
That's what he
Don
did,
just
don't
said.
lie.
Yeah.
That's what we just told him.
I wasn't really listening to what Don was saying, cause I was trying to find that
Yeah, he
part
said
for
he
you.
Listen what's
Yeah, he
going
said
on.
he doesn't wanna pay that in case it's found to be okay. He doesn't want to incur that fee, okay?
Because we don't even know how much it is.
Yeah,
It's time and material.
Yeah.
right.
And anything
I think that's a workable solution, what you stated. Get away with Mr. Collison, set something up that you can work with, and we'll have to go from there. We'll go ahead and get them,
Are we gonna give him permission to go beyond a year if he has to?
I think we should.
Like,
I think
beyond a
so.
year, but no
Yeah.
less than
Yeah.
two?
I
Yes.
think we should. We should give him what, you know,
18 months maybe?
as long as he keeps paying his regular bill and keeps, adding, you know, on the arrears.
Well, that's the problem, you gotta keep paying the regular.
Yeah, I
bill.
know, that's why I'm saying you pay your regular bill plus, you know, some to add to pay it off, I would.
With a maximum of 2 years,
I just wanna give Dennis something to work with.
with a maximum of 2 years. All right?
Yeah, I think you ought to put it in a motion for him.
Okay.
Would that work?
Is that
Make a
workable with you,
motion?
Mr. Brown?
You gotta put it in motion. Yes, yep, I'll work with Dennis for that, and then,
Yeah. And then we don't make motions normally during an announcement period. But it's in the it's in the record, it's part of the record, so.
I make a motion that we,
Okay.
direct, Dennis Collison to make arrangements on this water bill not to exceed 2 years.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried.
You'll want this.
how long before the meeting minutes are available?
They'll approve them at the next minute, or at the next meeting. The summary will be available probably by Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else with any announcements or announcements or comments?
Okay.
Let's move on.
He's gonna complain about
Let's,
water.
let's go to the Spicer Engineering Report. Your time's up.
Oh, no, his report's pretty interesting this time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good evening. You have a copy of my report. I'll go over a quick summary of the projects. The wastewater asset management plan, that is the SAW grant project. We need to have our certificate of completedness to the MDEQ or Eagle now in November of 2019. The report is about 95% complete. The only action item that is needed on that is to approve a revenue structure for the sanitary sewer or the wastewater system. Once that revenue structure is in place, that is the last component of the asset management plan that needs to be done. And we can finish up the report and send in that certificate of completedness to the DEQ. And John Kaiser is here to talk about rates and answer any questions you may have. If it's okay with you, I'd like to go through the rest of the projects and then come back to this. And we can have John answer your questions on the rate structure.
That would be okay.
Isn't that on the agenda somewhere else?
Yes, yeah.
Actually, it's the next item, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. Stormwater asset management plan, we are in the same boat, however, we don't need to have an action on revenue structure because there is no revenue structure for drainage. So that one, the certificate of completedness is also due November 2019. The water system asset management plan, we have the preliminary distribution system materials inventory, and that's gonna be due January 1st, 2020. We've been talking about that for some time. As a part of our report, I did include some information from Eagle now, not DEQ, I keep wanting to call it DEQ. One was just an informational sheet on the inventory, and then the other is the actual inventory worksheet that they want us to submit. So Don and I are gonna get together over the next month and look this over and kind of see where we're at and see what information needs to be done.
This looks like a lot of fun.
That's the water system asset management plan. Also with the water system asset management plan is also a rate structure that we'll be talking about shortly here. The streets asset management plan, we haven't worked on that a whole lot lately. We do have all the streets rated, we have all the condition ratings put in, and we're looking at the other asset management plans to see how we can formulate a capital improvement plan that includes the streets as well as the water, sewer, and storm sewer. The water system improvement project, which we are calling that Phase 1 improvements project, we do have the USDA rural development application. We're working on the preliminary engineering report. We're using the water study that we did before as a basis. When we get the new village manager in here, we'll set up a meeting with rural development and with RCAP and really kick off that getting that application completed. We're kind of working in the background, putting all the information together, but we kind of wanted to wait for the new manager to really get that rural development application going.
And this one, we don't need a bond for, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna do it later.
It would, correct. That is the one around 2023, we're looking at doing a rural development
Pay ourselves back
grant
at that
or
time.
low interest loan application.
Okay.
Fulton Street and Hosmer Street water main replacement. We are working on that. Survey work is complete. We called in a design miss dig to gather utility information, and we're currently working on the design of that. Our goal is to bid that out December, January, and build it, early next year as soon as the weather breaks.
Wow.
And that was the area of Fulton and Hosmer where we had the 5-6 breaks earlier this year. So there's a 4-block area we're looking at doing.
If I can hold you just a minute there, John, there's pictures in front of you tonight.
That's what the pictures are?
That's the repair we made on those streets last week.
We made another one last week.
Those are
Some of the
just
stuff
awful.
we're getting
Those
in.
are really awful.
That's what we're dealing with.
That's so terrible.
People in the
Yeah.
audience, would you like to take a look at these pictures? Anybody?
Yeah.
Just get it back to me, okay? Oh, she's got Jen.
That's what 1939 material looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, 1939, that's what it was?
That's what that
Does anybody over here want to take a look at the pictures? No? You can look, then ask them and then just make sure I get them back.
It's terrible.
Next item that we were looked at was the Act 51 Michigan Transportation Funds. For the past few years, the village has been in non-compliance with their non-motorized expenditures requirement. The village gets Act 51 monies from the state every year. 1% of that, or 10% of that is supposed to be, 1% of that is supposed to be spent on non-motorized transportation projects. Sidewalks, bike lanes, signage, bike racks, things like that. Last couple of years, that has not been done. The village got a letter from MDOT saying that you were non-compliant. Dennis and Jen and Don and I had a phone conversation with the fellow from MDOT. We just need to have a plan to them by September 30th, and the village is good to go. It'll be good to go for the future.
I have a question here,
Yes.
okay, cause we keep talking about the need for a sidewalk down Walnut. How much would that cost? Would that,
A little bit more than $2,000.
no, but what he's looking, this project that he has in mind is $8,500.
You
It
need
would be
to,
more than that.
you need to
It'd be more than that.
average about 2,700 every year, and that is averaged, a rolling average over 10 years.
But weren't we talking, and we don't even, like painting, it includes painting.
Right.
We've never done that, so we just need to pull out the painting bills and throw them against it, right?
Well, we can't do the old ones, we gotta
You can't do the old
project the
ones?
new ones.
Okay,
Right. What MDOT is looking for now is, what is your plan to come into compliance within the next 3 years? And the spending needs to be, on average, around $2,800 a year. Now, you could spend more one year and less the next, and it would average out. So they're looking at a rolling 10-year average. So, right now, MDOT just needs a plan. I think Dennis and Don and Jen have been working on a plan. They've got some ideas. We have talked about the sidewalk in front of, along Walnut there. There's talk about a sidewalk from Sunview down to the park. There was,
Bristol.
yep, the Bristol right away.
oh, okay.
Tie in the trail too.
There's talk about trying to quantify, the DPW staff's, crosswalk painting they do every year, cause that could be applied towards non-motorized funding. So, we don't necessarily have to build a big project, we just need to, account for what you're already doing and make sure it's getting into the Act 51 report.
Okay, and then, when it says signage, do you mean like the sign we're talking about in here?
No,
The library, it doesn't, that's not the kind of
It
signage.
has to be
we're looking for.
non-transportation.
it's showing where your bike trails are and walk
Like-
trails.
Like the one we've got uptown that shows where all of the things in town are for the people that
Like
ride
That would
bikes.
qualify.
Like a wayfinding sign,
Yes.
or a non-motor, or a bike lane sign,
Yep.
a crosswalk sign, those kinds of things.
Okay,
We have to, are supposed to have the plan done and approved by the council with a special resolution by the 30th. He's granted us the first meeting in October
okay.
with no penalty, so,
So that's
next
fine.
meeting you'll be having, we'll have something to you on that, so.
Okay.
So, and this was something that was really just brought to our attention, and we did have that conference call, getting it resolved. So it sounds like things are moving in the right direction, and it's more of an accounting thing more than anything else. It really sounds like.
So this is another, thank you, Dennis, for finding whatever paper you found on the desk, right?
Hey, it's yeah. Part of it is the accounting is not set up right, and we gotta get the numbers right for Act 51. So that when you do paint, you get the labor and the paint and the,
All of it in there,
all that in that
Right.
signage part that shows, or the non-motorized part,
okay.
so it gets billed out.
Instead of it
So we're
being-
So
working
we
on
need a
that
new
too.
line item,
We need a whole new category for non-transportation.
The right chart of accounts from the state.
Non-
board
Okay.
should
For
more,
they'll tell you
non-motorized
what they are,
transportation.
so,
right.
So we're working on that too, so.
because their
Marguerite's
financials
working on that.
matches it.
okay.
Next project we have down here is the St. Charles Tile Drain Improvements. Last month, Brian Wendling was here and talked to you about, the St. Charles Tile Drain. So there's different ways you could petition the drain office if you wanted to do that. Again, that's something that, down the road, if that's something the village wants to pursue, there are avenues to do that. So,
I really think that's
Or
should get in your capital improvement program with some kind of a timeline, because it's not something you wanna put off for another 10 years, I don't think.
and the people themselves can do it too, right?
They could, but they
They're not gonna,
probably won't.
yeah, the options are, the village council could petition the drain
Okay.
office to look at the project.
or the
The-
property
the-
owners.
Or the property owners could petition the drain office, or you could do nothing. I mean, that's an option. It's not necessarily a good option, but it is an option.
Well, in the offense of those property owners over there, no, it would be a county project, but they have to pay for it.
Well, even
no,
if,
no matter what.
even if we ask for it, they have to pay for it.
That's what I'm
If
saying,
it's a
yeah.
county drain project, everybody that's in that drainage district
Right, has
pays
to pay
for
for
that.
it.
But that also includes the road commission and the county drain commission and the county and township. And where if the city does it on, village does it on their own,
The village as a whole pays.
Right.
So,
So you think we should calendar that for like when?
Well, capital improvement.
I think you ought to get in your capital improvement plan, so in the next shorter rather than
5
longer
years.
end of it, yeah.
the issue right now is we don't know what the project is because the village can't investigate it because it's not your asset. It is the county drain commissioner's asset. You need to ask the county drain commissioner to look at it.
But you are having flooding problems there now, so it's.
There
It's
is
gonna
an
continue to
identified
get worse.
issue on that,
We've had 'em there for
downstream of the
years.
pump station. So,
Has it begun?
so. The next project, which is a new one, just announced from, the Department of, Eagle, is the Scrap Tire Market Development Grant. And there is an opportunity there to potentially go after, rubberized asphalt for the paving on the Fulton and Hosmer water main project. It would be up to a 50% grant for the cost of the scrap tires to add into the rubberized asphalt. So it would be, a portion of the project would be covered under a grant, and then, you could potentially get that to do the asphalt for those streets. It wouldn't cover gravel, it doesn't cover digging, it covers the price of the scrap tires that goes into the rubberized asphalt.
So would the rest of that come out of our millage fund, or would, you know, that come out of our road millage?
We're gonna pay for it anyway.
Right, but I'm saying, but the rest of it come out of the road.
Yeah.
So if we can get something from somebody
Yeah, that
else,
would be a good idea, okay.
Go get it.
And it's,
try to get it.
and what this grant program is for, it's to find new uses for scrap tires. And one of the uses they have found is using the rubber and mix it in with the asphalt, and they call it rubberized asphalt. That's just one of the uses, and they have given grants for that in the past. Last year, it seemed like they didn't give the rubberized asphalt grants out, they were giving them for equipment. So we're thinking this year, maybe they're gonna give more towards the asphalt projects. So, putting that application together, it's gonna take us about $7,500 to put that together. We're willing to do that for free.
That, I really like that
I
part.
like that.
I like that
That
part.
price is.
However,
What a way to get 2,500, right?
well, that's the thing, I need to get some other people involved, putting together some estimates and working with some of the asphalt companies and doing some of that, and that's gonna run us about $2,500. So, we would do the application and everything, but, we would need to charge for the estimates and the work I need to get some other people involved with. Those grants applications are due November 1st. So it's
But
coming-
This year?
Yeah,
This year.
so take the tonight decision.
Does he need a
So-
motion?
Going on
So
overtime.
do you need a motion for that tonight?
Well, that's entirely up to you.
Can we make a motion right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion that we, have Spicer do the application for the tire grant and, pay the 2,500 that was requested.
Support for the motion?
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
If I can add just a little bit to that, we should find out on the tire grant by January of 20.
Okay. So could we
If
put in?
if it does go down, it's already kinda engineered with the 2,500, so we can bid it out and use our millage money.
Okay,
So when we get the water main project done, we could pave those 4 blocks
Okay.
of streets. So,
cause we're gonna pave them anyway.
right. It's not as part of the water project. so-
No.
No.
So, one way or the other, this
But
way
we
we
have to
gotta
pave
do
them
it.
one way or the other.
Right,
But clean up the mess.
We
that we
deliberately
did.
left them out of the water
Right.
project.
right.
Is that an easy grant to get?
No,
No,
No.
heavy competition. It used to be, people were afraid of it, but now,
one of our.
More and more people
One of
are
our
doing it.
competitors is marketing this very, very heavily.
Okay,
We have not been marketing it very, very heavily. It's just.
Well, I think there's a guy just north of town that's what he invented. In that great big huge white house out there with the lake.
Maybe.
That's what he does.
Yeah, So.
I think with the housing project there, I think that if we push that as part of the application process.
You have as good of a shot as anybody else.
Oh, with the assisted living facility
Yeah.
right there?
I was going to ask
That
if
helps a lot of
would-
people, a lot of traffic,
Mhm.
plus the truck traffic coming in with their
Well,
delivery.
ambulances and stuff that would have to go there as well.
Well, another thing you have going is you're doing it as a part of a larger project. So you have a larger investment in the big project, and then
Right,
you
it's
look at
not
things
just the
like that.
road, yep.
So that's the end of my engineering report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer questions.
Not at this time.
Okay?
No, I like your report this month, thank you.
Okay.
With some free money in there.
Yeah, but then we see, we'll do this for you for free, you know, or if you can't.
Well, we don't mind doing grant applications, you know, like that. It's just, you know, there's certain things we have to cover.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I think next on the agenda, or I guess, Mr. President, you should probably say that.
We got water and sewer plan rate study.
So,
Would you carry on?
yep, I will carry on. I guess John Kaiser from Municipal Analytics is here to answer any questions you have on the water and sewer rate scenarios that that we've been talking about for several months. With that, I guess I'll turn it over to John.
So, this is just following up on the work that we've done since April or February, whenever we started. We've gone through several iterations of levels of service on both the water and the wastewater. Tried to narrow it down to a scope that's manageable, both from project design and interruption and cost. What seems to be settling on is a financing structure that will result in a 10% rate increase to start the process. We're gonna be using some of the funds in the sewer fund to fund the initial water project, and then paying back the sewer fund with bond proceeds several years down the road for the water, and then issuing a water and sewer bond in about 2023 to take on those larger projects. And that's why we're gonna start raising the rates now to start those improvement projects, and then to be ready when the debt service comes on in 2024. So with the plan that's in place now, we're looking at a 10% increase per year for the next 7 years to fully fund that phase one scope. If the village decides in 2028 to go forward with the phase two, which is additional $2 million in water, it looks like we could do another 3 years of 10%, and then everything would just be stabilized. And we'd be at a pretty solid position, both from an engineering standpoint and from financial standpoint. That's what we're shooting for, is stability, predictability.
But aren't we looking at two different proposals?
You're looking
I mean, like there's a phase one and that's just doing one of the things.
Yeah, cause we were talking about that we
And then
didn't
the
really get
phase
into
two
the
is doing two of them.
2023 thing.
Right, so what we did is, the first one that says just phase one is the one that we've been talking about primarily. I added the additional one just so you can see if down the road we don't have to raise rates 30% to take on phase two right away. We can continue with a more modest 10% increase and then stabilize. That's just for illustration. We're not asking any approval of that or anything at this point, just for illustration. And even the rates that are here are illustration. The idea is that we prepare the plan, you might adopt a multi-year rate plan, but every year you need to review it and decide whether that's enough, or maybe you've got enough cash and you don't have to raise it as much, and affirm each year that yes, we want to continue, or we want to adjust based on current needs.
I think we need to do that each year, because I don't like this writing in stone something that we're gonna get stuck in, you know. I think that we need to do it year by year by year, and that's I really do. And look at and see what's coming in, what we were able to do, And I mean, if we don't have to raise rates, I would be real happy not to do that.
Oh, absolutely, and I think
Well,
everybody
we're gonna
would
pay
agree.
them, you know, we all are gonna pay them. So I definitely think year to year, you know, that if when we make this vote, that we
can't have
vote
more
for
than
1
this.
year. Yeah,
You gotta get rid of
You
that.
know,
Um,
Right.
you've got to.
so you're saying we're just going to approve phase one improvements tonight?
So, for the certificate of completion
Yes.
that you need for the SAW grant, we need to have a rate strategy in place to fund the asset management plan and the capital improvement plan. That's what we need to do
5 years.
for 5 years.
5 years. This one will do that.
Yes,
Yes.
so if we decide to change it, then what happens to that?
that's okay.
That's okay, because you're gonna be looking at your asset management plan and your rates every year, and you're gonna be adjusting it based on what the village's goals are.
And,
So
and
even if we submit them the report for 5 years, then we're not.
You're
we're
not
ironclad in that.
You're not even submitting the report to the DEQ. You're
Okay.
submitting a certificate of completedness that the report's been done. So, next year, we wanna change the rates because the village has different goals and you're looking at your asset management plan and you have some different things you wanna look at. That's perfectly acceptable.
and
Okay.
required, actually, because
Right.
things are gonna change.
Yep.
And you mentioned the potential for some grant money or something.
Right.
If you're able to get grant money, or if you're able to get rural water funding, much lower cost,
Then
that
we-
will
then
change
we
all
could-
this
we
as
could-
well.
okay, we
You
could
don't
do
wanna
that
lock,
too.
you can, some communities will adopt a multi-year plan and then include in that resolution that it will be reviewed and adjusted each year as needed.
And I think we need to do that.
If you do, add that right into your motion.
In the motion, add that right in there.
Yep.
Very good.
One way to word that would be you approve the, the scenarios from the asset management plan, for the 5-year capital improvement plan, with the caveat that you're gonna look at it every year.
Okay.
That would be the way to
Did
word
you
it.
get that, Jenny?
I did, and this got it too, so I listen to this when I'm typing it
So,
out.
the other thing that we're looking at changing here, again, this is just, we've talked about this before, but just to review, you currently have a different minimum on your water and on your sewer. We wanna make them the same, so 5 units minimum per quarter on water and sewer, and then add on to the sewer a ready-to-serve charge, so that you would have a similar charge system for water and for sewer. So that we're being consistent across the utilities.
Okay, say that to me again.
We're adding a ready-to-serve charge, right?
Adding and ready. to
Right now,
serve.
you
We
have a
don't have a
high-
ready-to-serve.
Correct, on the sewer side, you do not have a ready-to-serve.
Right.
But you have a very high
Yes.
minimum usage. So the suggestion is to change that so your minimum usage matches the minimum usage on the water side. And then we implement a ready-to-serve charge to recover some of the fixed costs based on
Okay.
meter size as opposed to.
So you're
just a
saying don't raise the sewer rates then, just the ready to serve?
Well, if you
No,
look on
we're adjusting them.
the rate tables page here, you'll see
Okay.
how the rates, down on the bottom, under sewer, you'll see in the 2019 column, it's all zeros
Right.
for ready to serve. And you've got a $42 per quarter minimum charge. Going into next year, there would be for a regular residential customer, a $24 minimum charge, or a ready to serve charge, and a $10 per quarter minimum charge.
So the minimum charge has gone down.
Right.
For
The whole
a,
charge
for
is
a,
going
for a
down.
normal 3/4 inch meter
Right.
size.
Yep. And then the per unit cost goes up.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
we're
down
trying to
here.
balance this out
Okay.
to be more uniform for both utilities.
And another thing on this rate schedule, you'll notice that the larger water meters, the larger users are being billed at a higher ready-to-serve rate.
Okay, and who would that be exactly? That'd be like the apartment buildings and,
That'd be your large,
Be the sawmill.
commercial industrial users.
okay, all right.
And, an average 3/4 inch water service, the bill's actually gonna go down for 3 years.
Okay,
If you have, a 3/4 inch water service, which is what many homes have. So it's relying more on the larger customers to pay for the ready to serve for that larger quantity of water.
okay.
In which it's more in line with AWWA.
Correct.
Right, so the
More in line with
AWWA's
what?
principle is larger.
American Water Works Association.
It's more in the industry standard.
Okay.
So if a person uses 10,000 gallons of water, their sewer bill's gonna be $44.60. Is that about right?
Yep, about that.
Yep. Right now, it's 40.
We let them go to, right now they go to 40,000 gallons before we
Right.
charge them more, don't they?
Is it 30 or 40?
I think it's
It's 30.
30.
And then it's only 50 cents per unit after that.
So we're raising, never mind.
You're just adding a ready to serve and then.
I know, but it's gonna raise how much people are paying unless you're a low user of water.
Mhm.
You'll be paying less.
If a 3/4 inch meter right now is paying $42 for sewer,
Yep.
it will be $36.40 next year under this schedule.
For
the minimum
just
bill.
the 5,000
For the minimum
gallons.
bill.
Yeah,
Correct. So
I was
that will actually
thinking
be
more
less.
people use around 10, so I was just curious.
10 to 15, right.
And it'll be that way for about 3 years until it catches up with the current rates.
Okay,
And on this page that has all the pretty pictures, we're assuming 15 units of billable water and sewer per
oh,
quarter.
okay.
So
Where's
that's,
the
that's,
season?
An average, that's your average?
that's just the number that we're using.
Where are you seeing that?
On this one here, it says at the top,
Right here, 15 units.
Oh, okay.
5/8 inch or
Alright.
3/4 inch, 15 units.
All right, okay. This was easier to read, but it was still difficult to figure out if you're me, okay?
It's a lot of information. But what we're trying to do is balance the need to invest in the system, and because the village hasn't gone through a rate increase in a long time, this is the impact of trying to catch up now. To actually put a plan in place, and this is what we're finding in a lot of communities, is that rates either haven't been adjusted or they haven't been adjusted enough. And now that the asset management plans are being done, it's facing reality, but it's facing reality with real numbers. So many times it's just, well, we'll just raise it 5% and without any basis, but now we have a clear basis for it.
So now we need to put it into this form and publish it, right?
I thought that was a good example,
Uh-huh.
close to home and
Okay.
same water.
It is the same one.
Yep.
Same water and same people paying the bills, you know, yeah.
No, this is Swan Creek's.
No, I
Right.
know, but I mean, you know, I mean, it's for our
Yeah.
purposes, yeah. And you're going to prepare that, Mr. Carlson?
Prepare what?
This little table to have it published? Don't
We'll
say
see.
prepare
We'll
what.
Jenny
see.
can do
My
it.
desk is pretty full right now.
Jenny can do it.
Poor Jen.
We'll do it together.
So do we need a motion? So you're saying, you just wanna do the phase 1 now and worry about the phase 2 in 5 years?
Yeah, I don't
Or
want.
next year or the
yeah,
week after
we're
or
not-
whatever.
Yeah, we just wanna do phase 1 now. That's me.
So you're
I don't
saying,
know
let's
anybody else.
approve these water rates for phase 1,
One,
is that what
only,
everybody's
yeah.
saying?
That would be your 5-year capital improvement plan.
Yeah,
Right.
With the idea that you're gonna look at it every year.
And you said with caveat, and
Yep.
that's on there, that we are going to look at these rates every
Correct.
year and see if we're bringing
they're
in enough
going.
money, you know, then we don't have to do that, you know,
No,
I
we
mean, we
don't.
can adjust it, we get a grant or something.
yes, but you're probably gonna have to increase those rates to get to where we wanna do a bond.
That may be so, that we need to
Okay.
look at it every
Okay,
year.
we will.
We don't know what's coming up in the future, and just like, you know, there are all these lines and things that we have not checked. My road was never checked, and that there were many that were not, right? We don't really know what we're going to get into, and I really think that we need to do that every year. We need to take a look and see, well, what has happened this last year?
That's the right thing to do.
What is gonna happen, so that's me. I don't know about how anybody else feels about it, but. You guys have been terrific, you know, We need to tell you that, I know you get paid for it, but at the same time, to explain all
Well,
this
I
stuff is,
think you've also
Over and over and
struggled
over
with.
to it.
We like the bigger numbers.
yeah.
You like the larger print. You don't like the bigger numbers.
That's what I meant, the larger print.
Yeah.
We have bifocals up here, you know?
Yeah, a lot
Bigger
of them.
numbers.
Cause it was really small when
Yeah.
it started.
Yeah, I'm reading.
So do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion
To,
that we accept phase one with the thought that we're checking it every year. Right?
I'll second it. I don't really want to, but I, no, I don't.
I
We
don't
have
either.
to.
I
But
don't
we
either. I
have
wish we
to.
could go zap and everything would be
favor.
good.
I
but
really, yeah, I really don't
This
wanna do
stuff
it, but I don't do it, we have any choice.
We need a roll
Wind
call?
up like-
I would.
Yeah, do
How
a roll
long
call.
before the whole
Do a roll
system
call.
is going
Have
to
a roll
collapse?
call vote?
While they're arguing, do a roll call.
Yes, I mean, when you, things are
Tiley?
1939,
Dennis?
1919.
Yes.
Nick Fail, absent. Horner?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Coots?
Yes,
Tiley?
Yes.
Carried.
Then what we could do is we can take this, get it into your asset management plan report, get that done, and have that certificate of completedness sent in, and your SAW grant will be completed.
Okay.
excellent.
And just a reminder, the village does have the spreadsheet that has all of this in it, so you can update it each year. And there's also another spreadsheet I created for the general fund and the streets funds, so you can be looking at the streets and the stormwater as well.
Do you have that, Jenny, or who has that?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you guys.
It's all there,
So
so
Thank you,
you can do
gentlemen.
some forecasting each year.
thank you.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I'd like to be excused.
You're gonna
You may be
you're
excused.
gonna get wet.
Makes you think you're gonna go somewhere.
I am cold.
I'm freezing.
Let's move on to council minutes approval for the meeting of August 14th.
There's just a couple
Oh, you really are.
grammar errors in here. I'll give you this, it's just, you have Lois on there for both Tylees instead of putting me on there too for the roll calls. All the roll calls, you have her on there twice,
Okay.
so that's just all I found.
Is there any discussion on the minutes of the 14th? If not, do I hear a motion to file it?
We accept,
Yes.
approve, actually, we approve it.
Accept it, excuse me.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 15th, 2019.
Second,
I support.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We now have the minutes of August 28th. Any questions on that? Hear a motion to accept the minutes of August 28th?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Never heard of it.
Yep, it is approved.
Yep, it's approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, minutes are approved. Moving on to the committee and commission reports, minutes from the DDA for September 6th.
I'll make a motion to accept and file. Okay, the minutes for,
I
DDA
support.
minutes, okay?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that brings us to the Fulton and Cross Street.
No, we did that.
You covered all that you wanted to?
This is gonna be communications now, I believe.
We've got updated publications. Why do we have that? It's,
To let you know that it got approved.
oh, okay, so just, that's just
It's just
FYI.
correspondence,
Okay.
yeah. We now, if we have a fire, we have some control of the insurance company.
Okay.
We don't have to really do anything with it, then, do we?
No,
Oh, man.
AKC Peerless update. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I had a concern on that, where it said the exception of one sidewall and one floor sample, that there was some contamination on there. That did not exactly make me very happy.
That's the part we talked about last
Yeah.
meeting, that's
Right.
under the building,
Right,
and unless you tear the building down, you can't get to it to clean it up, so.
so how dangerous is it? Is this the mothball thing or whatever? No?
I
What
do.
is,
No, this is,
This is where they're talking about maybe looking at putting a
The van
the
The
van
vent,
in to
okay.
Yeah.
vent it out through
Okay,
the,
that's the same thing then,
Yeah.
this is not anything new, different, or
No.
more horrendous,
No.
okay,
same thing.
alright.
And you got a pocket park.
That's just something
Picture.
the DDA's looking at for potential to get the parking lot
Those are kinda
people
cute.
from the parking lot to the downtown at some point in their life. Their life, not mine, probably.
isn't there a building in the way?
No,
There won't be when they get done.
No.
There's a garage back.
Yeah, there's a garage back there.
This is back behind the DDA
This is
building?
between.
Well,
the-
it doesn't
No,
necessarily mean that lot, but
oh, okay.
That vacant lot up there?
What other lot would you put it on?
Is that the
It's
vacant
where
lot
the
there?
pretend thing is.
Okay.
And all the trees are
That's
growing
okay.
over the top. It's very pretty. Unfortunately, I don't think the walls look like this.
No,
No.
well, they would when you got done.
Okay.
That was when we said we couldn't because Tony's was falling down. Right? The bricks?
But it isn't.
Okay.
I mean, there's some loose bricks. you
Yeah,
gotta fix
but
it.
that's, I was saying that's the
Yeah.
spot that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
You have in your packet a review magazine.
did you
what?
read this, Mr. Collison, about the opt-out thing on the marijuana business, that we have to send a copy of our opt-out into the state?
I did not.
Okay, I'm trying to think what page it was. But anyway, in there it said that, you know, the state was recommending, or somebody was recommending that we sent, you know, how we said we were gonna opt out of marijuana businesses, that we need to send that to the state.
So we better do that.
So
huh?
we better do that. Because they're,
What's that
they're
in?
in the review, and I wasn't page 28, so I marked that for something else. Let's see what it was.
I'm not up to speed on that one, I'm sorry.
Is it a question and answer time?
Well, I remember reading it in there, and I don't know for sure that we have an ordinance, I think that we just voted,
We just made a motion.
right, that we weren't going to do it.
It was an ordinance.
It was an
And
ordinance?
it was
Okay.
posted in the newspaper and everything.
Okay. Where do I see?
We'll do check and report back at the next meeting on that.
Okay. Payments of claims.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's in there someplace, Jenny.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
I didn't have any questions.
I see where the taxes are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're due
Hey,
Monday.
From the general fund.
If there are no questions, did you have any, Diana, or?
I don't remember. I did have one, but I don't think it's appropriate for tonight.
There are no questions, but here motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion, we pay the bills in the sum of $114,348.55.
Second,
Support.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to new business, acceptance of the Bartholomew and Company contract for audit.
It's perfume.
Our contract with them is up, so they're submitting a new one, engagement letter for 5 years.
I've always been happy with them. Is everybody else happy with them or not?
Yes.
They seem quite complete.
Is the office happy with them?
Yes, Darcy is amazing, Ken is very nice, anybody is very helpful there.
They're still lowest than the price is still lower than the last one that we got rid of
Just
5 years ago.
just a comment from an outsider.
Yeah,
You can get too comfortable with each other, and sometimes it's good to change, or look at changing.
They overlook a few things.
And not necessarily this time, but keep that in mind. It's
You don't think it's necessary at this point, or?
No, I don't, but it is a profession that you get close with each other and you get complacent with each other and you aren't looking near as deep and
Okay, we'll keep that
it's
in
worth
mind.
testing the water.
And they
once
do
in a while.
find mistakes, so.
But I'd recommend renewing it for another 5.
Hear a motion to accept their contract?
So move.
Support. Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Signs and poles and banner. We have a bid here for a sign for going across the street. And we also have information on having the poles put in. That was presented to the DDA. Do you have any update on that, to the council?
The DDA is very aggressive and having lots of fun right now and,
Looks like it.
the concern is that the existing poles that we used to use for banners are short, weak, and old. Plus they have a lot of electric on them, which is dangerous to try to get banners put on.
Are you talking about over in front of the park?
That area, and then we're talking to the, I guess it'd be the southwest. I don't know which way that road goes. How about the
Before
cemetery?
Cemetery curve.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
On this side of the cemetery.
The cost of a banner, 35-foot banner, is roughly $1,400. They put tax on it, and we don't pay tax, so whatever less the tax is. And the poles are larger and newer, of course. And so we're looking at 4, 2 at each end of town. And that cost was big.
Will that come out of DDA money then?
This is DDA money.
Okay,
They did approve it, subject to your approval. They're recommending amending their budget to take this money out of the redesign of the downtown that wasn't gonna happen this year. We looked at splitting it, doing one.
Is it $14,000 for poles?
To put them in and put the cable across.
What do they look like?
Big telephone poles.
Wood?
40
Yeah.
foot.
But if you look, there's a $5,000 remobilization if you split it. So you might, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it, yeah. Or you aren't gonna save anything by waiting a couple of years.
and it's already been approved by the DDA?
Yes,
They've approved
subject to,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
So all they need is our blessing. And they don't even need our blessing.
Do we need a motion?
Well, I
for that?
think you should.
Well, no, we
Yeah.
should. We
Yeah.
need to get them used to that, yeah.
Do I hear a motion to,
I make a motion that we approve their expenditure for signs.
is it support?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Their motion, you may wanna change that. Their motion included 2 banners, 2, not 1. One for Christmas parade and one for
Farmer's market.
farmer's market, which we don't need to buy till next year's budget, but that's their thoughts, at least right now, I have 2 banners at some point to
For
put on.
poles and banners?
Poles are the same, going the same,
Well, I know, but the banners are extra.
right.
Yeah.
So you're saying I should have included banners in the,
Well, they,
what are you telling me to change?
well, you just approved the poles, didn't you?
Yeah.
They also approved the banner, 1 banner,
One
but there will be a
banner,
second banner
two-sided.
for the,
Okay, I amend my thing to the poles and 1 banner.
for the,
Or we can approve just 1 banner.
just do 1 banner, cause
Yeah,
we're hoping to get Christmas, but Don's telling me they're not gonna move that fast, but I keep trying to light a fire under him, and
We
he
gotta
keeps
get,
saying he's going on vacation, so
we
I
gotta
don't,
get MDOT's approval and all this stuff too, so.
okay.
we're doing our best to hit the Christmas parade.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the purchase of One sign,
The banners too,
or one banner?
One banner,
One
One
day.
banner.
but it isn't gonna be,
but it's
Two
not in
banners?
this part. That's at a
Oh, it's
later
the
date.
two-sided this side.
The two-sided, it's the same thing on both sides.
Right.
It's just
well, I
right
know, but
now
aren't
they've
they
only,
putting one at each end? Aren't we putting poles at
Yes,
both
we're
ends?
putting it on each end, I'm sorry.
so why, but
So
we've
it's
only
two
got
banners,
one
Two
banner.
banners.
One
Two
for
banners.
Two
each
banners,
end of
I'm
town.
sorry, it's two
Okay.
banners.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, were we at the
There's
same
four.
meeting?
yeah, two banners. Cause they wanna buy 4 banners.
Yeah.
And we're approving 2
Right.
banners. Yeah,
Okay.
You're approving one set.
one
Yeah,
set,
one
there you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Did we do a motion?
Did we take a vote on that?
Yeah, I made a motion,
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor?
you need to
Leave it
support,
that way, we do.
Okay,
Second.
okay, Lois is seconding it, so.
now it's on.
Yeah, call.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Got
those
that, Jenny?
opposed?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
We're dragging this off
Are
for
we
you so you keep
confusing
up.
you over there?
There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
There it
Uh,
is.
The next item is, the other kind of signs,
Mm-hmm.
the pathfinding or wayfinding or however you wanna call it. The ones, the 650 and the 350, those have already been approved, so that's just for your information. But approved by the DDA. The second one, the library and, was the library, it's now Village Hall and Fire Department, that one. I didn't get approved by the DDA board, so you could approve that one subject to their approval. And this one, they have approved, so you could approve that one. And then we can get those ordered and
What do
going.
you say?
So we need
Okay.
2 motions.
Two motions.
First of all, we need a motion to approve the signs that have already been approved by the DDA for the,
I thought we already did that.
what was it for? For
I don't think
the,
we did that. There's our welcome to St. Charles signs, right?
yeah,
Is that what those are for? On all the,
Yeah,
yeah,
one on each one.
well, more than, there's
Oh,
six
there's one.
of
So there's
them.
5, or, wait,
There's 5 of them.
5 of them, yeah, right.
Five of one style.
Oh, and then
Two of the
to
other,
do the
yeah.
he's gonna repaint the wood ones too.
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
M52 is the two separate, the other 5 are the other entrance.
So
okay.
we need a motion to approve the motion of the DDA.
No, we just need a motion to approve the purchase, no, the repainting of the signs. No, you do this one.
I make a motion that we pay Dan Harmon to repaint the signs,
Which ones?
all of them.
Support.
All of them that
We
need.
just have to do these first.
Okay, let's do this
So-
first. Those 3, whatever. 3, 4.
There are 5.
Aye.
There's
Oh,
5.
there's 5 of them.
Six,
Now,
seven.
well, let's go with all 5 of them.
Okay.
Support for the motion.
I'll
support.
second
All those in favor?
it.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now are we done?
Now we need a motion to
Carried.
Does
approve
the
this.
DDA pay this one?
Yeah.
This is ours.
They're gonna pay it.
They're gonna pay this one?
I'm gonna ask them to.
Oh,
Oh,
so,
okay, because when we put
They're in
this
it.
in, we all pay for our own.
They're in it.
so if we're
I
going
know.
to approve this
Okay.
subject to their approval. is
Right.
that correct?
Right.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Village Hall Fire Department signs, purchase and installation subject to the DDA approval.
Right.
Support for the motion?
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any more signs?
No more signs.
No,
No more signs.
Signs are done,
DDA reporting requirements.
This is something else found on the desk.
What the leak-
That has to be done by the end of the month.
the end of this month,
Yes?
2 meetings?
But
Most of it.
isn't this their responsibility to take care of?
No.
It's our responsibility?
They would have no idea. This is something that the staff has to do. And, part of it is holding, they gotta have 2 public hearings a year,
Right,
inviting the taxing units as well that we're getting taxes from. And then, keeping our plan updated, and there's just gobs of stuff. They need a copy of our audit, they need a copy of our ordinance, and we're working on it.
Okay.
And we,
Okay, so it's under control, as a matter, so it's something that we need to worry about.
I don't know if it's so much under control. What day is this?
I know.
Today's the 11th.
20 days to go.
I've been working on
Or
it
less.
since June.
Okay.
15 days.
if we don't have it done by the time the new manager gets here, they
Just
can,
It'll be their problem. Leave it on the desk. Put a big one on front
Yes.
of top of it.
priority number
See, I
one.
wasn't aware of this at all.
Huh?
No,
I
we
wasn't
weren't.
aware of that at all.
He said he found it on the desk.
If
It popped
you,
up the
Most
last
of the
meeting.
stuff we've been doing, he found on the
Yeah, I
desk.
know,
If-
and it's, yeah, I know.
Stop looking.
I bring in more, it's okay.
every day she piles my chair, by the time I
Oh,
get here,
Jenny.
my chair's full.
If you wanna sit down, you gotta work.
So they're gonna hold a public hearing this month yet?
The next two meetings are gonna be public hearing, October
Okay.
and November.
Well, at least they come to the meetings. At least you're working with the group. that
Yes,
comes
they
to
do.
the meeting.
We,
Yeah.
they've been a very good group to work with. They
Yeah.
just meet too early in the morning.
It's very early. It's very early. Yep.
But they get in and out of there.
So you really just gave us this to show us how much work you're doing.
No, I just want
Oh.
you to know that
You just prove your
instead of
worth.
somebody wanting me to color lines or something with a crayon,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this stuff.
okay.
Amen. Amen.
That's good.
It's very good.
I'll get to the lines.
Okay. Ooh, we're almost at the end.
All right. Manager contract review.
Oh, boy, did I like this. Okay.
Item 3B is the heart of it.
Item
3B.
3B.
That's what,
First page.
on the first page.
Shall live, no, yeah, that one I wasn't aware of, that by.
That's the one you guys wanted me to do.
That's what we added.
Okay. You know, the one thing, Jenny, is you have a date in there on, item number 1, term, that should just be left blank. You've got April 13th, 2007.
Oh, yep.
Take that out.
That's the kind of thing that can,
This whole
Give it
thing's
away
gonna
that
be
we do.
negotiated, but there's
Oh.
a couple
Yeah.
things that we asked for.
well, that tells you
wording.
that we just copied it from somebody.
Yeah, so, that needs to be a blank there. But we haven't even talked about salary projections either, so, I mean, it's. that's
All
good
this
that
is
it's blank.
negotiated.
It's
It's just,
negotiated with the person
Right.
that we
we
picked.
wanted, the one though, you wanted the
Is it within
attorneys.
20 miles?
That was with Gary.
That's state law.
That's the state law?
Yeah.
You can't entice them to move within the village limits for 5
Yeah, you
grand?
can entice them, yeah, but you can't enforce it.
That's why
But
we
you can
said if-
enforce the 20.
Yeah, that's why we said if
Yeah,
they
it
live
says right here,
within, they'll get an
additional
extra
5,000.
5,000 on there.
Maintains residency within the village limits, so that's right
Okay,
there.
so we're actually gonna take the salary and lower it 5,000 and then give it to him,
Right,
when,
later, yeah.
him or
Yeah,
her when they
exactly.
get here.
That's what we did with Matt,
Yep, it
the
is.
first to start
He
with.
moved really
But this
quickly.
contract is just much better. I'm just so
Yeah.
happy with this contract.
And we had the attorney review it all and make
And he,
sure.
I don't
Okay.
get a second, so he says everything's kosher here.
Yeah.
Cool.
So all we have to really do is pick
Do
out
your-
stuff like how often we're going to evaluate and all that stuff.
Right,
Okay,
I don't
and
know, if
that's kind of between us and whoever we pick.
right.
I don't know if we need this or not, but on the second page, number 10, outside employment, on the contract we worked with, after the first sentence, it says, well, with the exception of employees' duties performed for the James Township, Swan Creek Township, and Village of St. Charles Water Authority, do we need that?
No,
No.
because that's part of his job anyway.
That was,
Oh, so we didn't need it on the first
That was,
contract? Okay.
didn't Hal have
That
something
was
to do with that?
Hal's.
Yeah,
He
He
got to
was
keep that job. and get
Water
paid for it.
Authority, and Matt, was he or no? Or,
no,
okay.
No, but Hal was when he was,
Yeah.
when he was the
DPW.
manager.
Okay,
He also was when I was the manager, so he just wanted to keep that money.
Right now, it's Hal and I.
Hal and you? Okay. You both get paid?
Neither one
Anyone
of
have
them.
any other
I
questions
don't.
on this?
No?
I don't think anybody
Draft?
has to pay out to
No,
be on
Yes.
yeah, somebody gets paid. We're not paying Don?
Well, we'll have to look at that then.
Yeah.
that. He's getting paid when he's there, right? Or is it?
No, it's after hours, isn't
No,
it?
it's during business hours.
Oh, is that? Oh, then you can't get paid.
No double dipping.
Can't get paid.
Any other questions on this draft of this contract?
No, I especially like the last page. I think we just about have everything on there you can think of.
Right.
Do we have to accept this at this time?
No,
Just
I
have to
Just
look
to
at it?
look
going
at.
to show you we did what you asked us to do, we tried to.
Because we did ask him to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. That I know.
Moving into departmental reports, DPW report.
Lead and copper sampling, none above MCL, so we're all cool so far?
We're all under the maximum contaminant level.
Amen.
Most of them were significant.
Significantly lower?
I was,
Well, lucky you.
yeah.
Were
Well,
we
one of the
significant?
ones.
Huh?
You're not, are you
Yeah,
doing
we
it?
didn't know.
Oh, okay, we're doing it. It's only once a year, right? Once a year?
Now it is, it used to be once every 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's-
Any questions on the police department report?
No. We met your new police officer.
Yeah, she's working out pretty well.
She was
yeah,
very nice.
We
She
liked
seemed
her.
very
Yeah,
nice.
she seemed very nice.
Yep.
She's kind of impressive looking female.
Yeah, she actually came in and, made an appointment.
All right, I shouldn't have said that, but I did, anyway, I liked her, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And
You know, can I go back and ask a question on something else now?
Oh, I don't know,
You know what? I'll ask you after.
you can.
When you're reading this report of the wages, you and I talked about this, why does it appear that our police officer makes more than our chief of police?
Okay, that was the question that I didn't really want to bring up because of the fact that the meeting.
Probably he gets overtime for court.
There's no
stuff.
overtime listed.
I'm guessing, I don't know.
Mr.
Do-
There are
we-
vacation
Are we
days
paying the
in there.
regular policeman more than we're paying you?
He's talking about the other full-time?
Yes.
Yeah,
I know we were pretty close anyway, he might be getting overtime.
But there's no overtime listed.
He's filling some open shifts, well, we're working with overtime.
The,
Oh, he's got 1.5 hours of overtime.
yeah, that second column is the OT.
that would-
Okay.
but that, you know, that's still,
Is 1.5 hours of overtime $857.64?
That's year-to-date.
Okay,
When Marguerite runs this, it's a year-to-date total as of the day that she,
she runs it.
for that month.
okay,
So like it's dates, like when she goes into the payroll, she'll select like August 1st through August 31st. So that's, but it shows a year-to-date total for like the OT and stuff like that.
okay.
That makes sense.
How much overtime is he working?
It's just a few hours here and there, there's open shifts and, he wanted to work them and, I didn't think that would be a problem with our overtime budget since we don't have full-time, other full-timers, so I'm letting him work the overtime. He's only working like an extra additional few hours here and there.
this is totally with your approval.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It just looked a little bit odd when I saw the figures on it.
There should be, other than a definite increase in amount of overtime he's working, there shouldn't be too much difference.
Peter, on this subject of police, is there any chance?
we're not on the subject, it's gone now. Yeah, it's just a little question I wanted to ask.
Was she out of
We'll
order
meet
there?
separately.
She out of order there?
Wasn't that big an issue here?
Okay,
Need an issue again, I mean, it wasn't a big question.
okay.
All right. Jeez. DPW, police, building inspector report. Had one. No questions on that? I don't know who you'd ask, but Code enforcement report, there's none. So that's it.
Public
Public comment. Mr. Coos, you got 3 minutes.
The other guy didn't have 3 minutes.
Well, I'm timing you. I'm timing you because you ain't got an internal clock.
Anyway, I've lived on Main Street where I'm at now for the last 47 years, paying water bill, sewer bill. Okay, in the last couple of years, since we've had electronic reading, I've had more estimate bills than I had the 45 years before then. I had Tito would come out and give you the foot and a half of snow, lift the cover up, read the meter. Now, electronic, I can't read the meter half the time, that's bullshit. Something needs to be changed on that. Either go back the old way of reading it or whatever. The other thing is, on this water line, going from the main water up through the meter into the house, how far is the village responsibility go? As far as the meter?
Shut off, isn't it?
18 inches inside the house, I think is the new.
What I'm getting at is that
But that's new.
my meter is out by, just off of where the main line is. When it comes out, the meter's there. Now, am I responsible from the meter beyond? And if somebody with a meter that's in the house, now if that water line breaks, in between the main and the water meter, if it's before the water meter, if the water meter is in the house and it breaks halfway across the front lawn, that would be the village's responsibility, right? But if
Just a
my
minute.
meter is out by where it hooks up and it breaks halfway to the house, then I'm responsible for it.
You're talking two different issues.
No,
Yes, you are. If you have a copper line and it breaks between the meter and the house, you gotta fix it. If it's lead or galvanized, that's when we're responsible to take it in the house. Unless you tell us we can't go on your property.
no, okay.
To replace it?
No, what he's saying is that we're making him pay for his water bill and his meter was in his house. What if it broke on the other side of the meter towards the road? He wouldn't have had to pay the bill because it never would have ran through the meter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, see that,
That's
if
correct.
the meter is in the house and it breaks,
You got it.
say they got
That's right.
say they got 50 yards
Yep.
from my house to where it hooks up to the main line. If it breaks halfway in between, then the village takes care of it, right? But, like my meter is 50 foot away from the house,
You're the nice guy and takes
then
care of
I'm
it.
the guy that has to pay for it.
Exactly.
That ain't fair.
Life
Why
isn't
should
always
you guys
fair.
have to pay and we have to pay, and it's the same distance from my house to the main water line?
The typical standard is the shut off at the road.
Right.
I don't know if they're insured to pay it.
The
No,
typical
because there was a
standard
thing
is
that
the
we
shut
got
off
in the mail
at the
for us to put
property
insurance
line.
on it in
That's
case
the
that
dividing line
incident
of
happened.
responsibility.
I don't know.
It's that water
If
service line
Yeah.
that people
shut
can
off
sign
to
up
the
for and they can pay for it.
If it's at the
He
shut
can get
off
his
towards the
line
house, it's the
fixed.
homeowner's responsibility.
Are you talking about the repair of the line or the water you
No
lost?
matter where the meter is?
Doesn't matter where the.
I got like 500 of them,
The
so
meter we own, but
I'm sure they did.
we don't own, if your line is currently running to the house and the meter's in the house, if that line breaks between that meter and the shut off on the property line, it would be your responsibility.
So it runs back to the shut off always.
Uh,
But not the water.
He's talking about the
Oh, the
water.
water.
Yeah,
Talking about
not
the
the
water.
water, because it
Oh.
wouldn't go through the meter.
Right, and that, well, it just would be unaccounted.
But you know
for.
how we find those, if they break between there and the house, all the water comes up
to
on the
top of
ground. We find those.
Look how long it could be leaking there.
It comes up pretty quick. It comes up pretty quick.
Yeah, look, the main line over on
Mhm.
Ivy Street. Well, the 340 line running to my house, don't it? It has been leaking for years.
Could be.
And it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and
Well, if you read our reports, you see that it doesn't come out even. What we pay for and what, the community pays us back for, it's not the same number. We always pay for more than what goes out. But that's part of the fire department uses our hydrants to test things. They use our hydrants to fill water trucks. We don't meter any of that stuff. We don't know what that is. Those are unknown costs to us.
Well, and
Which is why it's even harder to find somebody's leak, because our numbers don't jive here.
typically, any system, even a brand new system, will have a loss level of 5 to 10%. And an old system's generally higher than that.
Mhm.
Just, well, this leak we just fixed on 52, that probably leaked for maybe a month before it ever got to the
Well,
top and made it
can
through the
leak until
blacktop.
it all falls out and the pavement falls down in it. That can happen too.
And it depends where it's at.
Yeah.
If
Mhm.
there's
Type of
some
soil.
issues, you know.
It just goes out.
Yeah, one other thing. That,
Is the grass just 3
uh,
months?
Oh, I forgot.
because I'm not satisfied with the answer on that.
Okay.
I use a gallon of water, I'm just gonna use some easy figures. I use a gallon of water, the village paid Saginaw for a gallon of water. Okay, so now I pay the village back for that gallon of water. But when I get rid of that water, who is, it shouldn't cost me $1 now to get rid of that water that I bought for $1. That's free flowing out. I'm not paying somebody to come and take that gallon of water like I did. I paid somebody $1 to give me that gallon of water.
We have to treat that gallon of water that you sent out before we can put it out into the ditch or the river.
So
It's gotta be quality water we dump.
So you're saying whatever it costs me to use that gallon of water, it costs you the same amount to get rid of it?
It might cost more, depending on what kind of quality water you're sending.
I need to, I guess, see some, figures. For one thing, the water, the rate that Saginaw is raising this water, what are they using to justify the amount that they're raising that water? They can raise it anything they want, we have no choice, we have to pay it.
Right.
That's right.
But is anybody asking and getting figures why it went up as much as it did? Whatever amount, I don't care if it went up a penny, if it went up $10.
There's a board with representation of each community that buys from them, that works with them and challenges them on all that stuff.
Water authority.
Do they ever win? Not very often, but once,
Hardly ever, but there's some pretty big fights down there.
yeah.
But
It's not just saying yes, 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 believe me.
No,
But you are represented down there.
But can I see the figures of what they used?
well, they're never the same.
What?
You couldn't figure them out. I can.
I can't figure them
No,
out.
okay, this is the thing though. Did Saginaw screw up on anything? In order that they're raising the rates to give it to us. See, they can screw up all kinds of ways. Why do I give a damn? I'll just pass it on to St. Charles and Hemlock and whatever I'm saying was. So it doesn't matter
Actually,
when they're on the Saginaw screwed up this is something I should have done, this is something I need to do, or whatever, doesn't matter. It's not your business.
Believe me, every system gets overlooked by the federal government and the state government and the units of government. Do they get caught all the time? No, but Eagle and the federal government and health department, we get the health departments here every month checking us out, making sure we run our samples.
Yeah.
They have bigger guys that go there, believe me, they send a team.
We're at the bottom of the pile. That's always the ones you want to check on because they can't fight back. The bigger you are, the more money the government overlooks them. They don't want to waste the time or money to mess with them when we can get the little guy. And I'm tired of that kind of bullshit. The people is not looking in the changes in the community and whatever gets and challenging them if they have to take it to court.
But you can challenge them all you want, but they'll set a rule up there, and we're all sitting there listening to them talk, and they're telling us they're gonna raise the rates so much. And then a year goes by, and then 2 years go by, and sometimes 3 years goes by, they don't raise anything. And then they come back to you now, all of a sudden it's 10%.
Well, you have to raise it because they have things that they have to improve too. Now, for us to get quality water, the city of Saginaw has to fix, there's things too that they have to improve, and that costs them. So, in order for them to take care of what they need to take care of, in the long run, it's gonna cost us a little bit too.
Well, but
This is
they
fine.
don't follow the same
This is
rules we
fine.
follow.
Show
They just
me,
don't.
this is what I'm gonna say. Show me what you did, maybe what you should have done, because you messed up, so the rates have to go up. It's costing you more money to give it me that water, but it's not because something you had to do to improve, it's something that you messed up and did with, so you're gonna pass your mistake on to me. I'm gonna pay for it, you're not gonna pay for it.
How much you think it's gonna cost them to renovate their water treatment plant?
I don't know. But,
The rate I just heard was 99 million.
okay, what,
Do you
did
have
they
that
pull,
information, Don?
There's a big, they do a rate study every 3 years.
did they do all the maintenance and everything?
Could
It
you
should have
come look
done
at that,
in
or-
order to keep that
We can get
functioning the way
Get
it
a
should have
copy
been
of course.
functioning. Just like the rules that are put on us
No,
as a
don't.
community, we have to do this, this, and this. We can't pass it on to anybody. If we mess up,
Yeah, you need to.
we have to pay it if we mess up. The people in this village. If they mess up, they don't have to pay it. They're gonna pass it on to us. We have to pay their screw up. And I think this should be investigated one way or another, some type of proof that shows why that rate went up and how much it did go up. Maybe it should have went up 10 cents a gallon, but they raised it 15, we'll make an extra nickel, just like everything else. When the government wants you to do something, you're gonna find a way that you're gonna make money off of this. Corporations do. I can't because I got the Bible file. I got nobody to pass it on to. I've seen that with Stereo. I worked there for 40 years, I see how they pass stuff on. If the government told them they had to do something, they would fund it for 20 years if they can't make money off of it, right down to $1. But it was the way they could pass this on to you and me, the customer who works in that thing. I had to do it, the government said I had to do it. That's the way that works.
Well, Katie, I'm gonna have to cut you short here.
I'm done.
I thought so. Thank you for your
No, no.
That's
information.
Question,
You wanna answer questions, or you wanna ask a question?
is it too late?
No.
It's something,
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Diane wants to ask a question.
this is something we discussed in the past,
Oh,
and it's about the police. Can I talk about that now? We were wanting a written resignation of a full-time position because the person went to part-time. Did you get that in writing?
I, told her that we wanted it, and she's, acknowledged. I told her again after the last meeting, and she says her union told her she doesn't have to. She already gave us something that was technically in writing, and she says she doesn't have to, do anything more.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you, John.
We're working with the union negotiator with that, we'll see what we can do.
Our labor, we're
Okay, because
talking to
that
the
means
labor
she-
attorney.
Okay, I
Does that
just
mean she can
wondered.
come back full-time whenever she feels like it?
I don't
That's
know-
what we're trying
I don't
to-
know if she could do that without our approval, but,
We have to give her the hours, right?
no, she signed away her benefits and
Cause she wrote something that
Oh,
said
she
she
did
was
sign
going
away all the
part-time,
benefits.
she
right?
wrote, she gave me, it
Yeah,
was
but
more,
that's not her
more in the
choice
form
to
of a
make.
memo, where she said
No.
she was notifying me she was going to part-time status, and she signed it.
Okay.
So it wasn't a formal letter, but it was in writing, and she did sign it.
Okay, as long as you got something that's stating she's
No,
going
no,
back.
wait a minute. Do we give employees the right to decide what they're
That's what
gonna
I
do?
thought.
No, they didn't, but she got it
Yes,
right.
we did. She got to say, I don't wanna be full-time, I wanna be part-time. It's like, we don't
Oh.
need part-time, so goodbye. I mean, I don't understand how that employee
Right.
has the right to decide what her position's gonna be. Or
The
his.
right way, she's gotta come back and reapply to be a part-time person.
That's
You're
what,
gonna find out, right?
It makes it very difficult when you're in the middle of a first negotiation of the first union contract.
And you're gonna leave that to the next person, right?
I
can
wouldn't
tell.
think of doing that.
I can tell.
but shouldn't we still be allowed to
Maybe.
make those decisions until that is finalized? All that whole negotiation is finalized?
You guys,
I mean, isn't that right?
What?
Until that negotiation's finalized, we still
you
have
guys
the
gotta
right to
approve it,
say,
yeah.
you're doing this, or you're not doing that, or if you can't meet these hours, then you're gone.
We don't have a contract with the union.
Exactly, and until that's finalized, we should be
Yeah,
able to
but
say.
any court's gonna rule that
Okay.
we're messing with the
If it's
union.
in process, then we have a problem, okay, it's in process.
Separate.
Marie,
Okay. Do you have a union or do you not have a union? Do you have a union?
We have a union.
Yeah, union,
We don't have a contract.
Negotiation.
Okay, did you have a union when your, full-time man sued the village? Did you have a union then?
No, they don't think they have done it yet.
Okay, does that man get covered by that union
For
then?
Yeah, I think he's kind of involved in, the guy driving their side of the negotiation.
So that police officer in that situation is covered by a union even though it happened beforehand? So he's protected by the union for something that happened before the union come in?
Oh, I don't know.
Shouldn't be.
I would
Well,
think,
I don't want you to speak about it, I know you can't. I understand that. I understand that.
We're doing what our
lawyer.
union attorney will allow us to do
So maybe that's something we
as
ask.
part of the negotiation.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand if you didn't have a union back then, if he's covered by the union for that situation about getting rid of someone that sued the village and still working for the village. I'm just wondering about that. If he would be covered for that situation if the union wasn't here then. Just putting it out there, John, I don't know.
I don't know either. I would say that if they weren't, they would say that he's covered. The union's gonna say he's covered, and we're gonna say he's not,
And then it,
It'll be something that's gonna have to be decided.
okay, all right, thank you.
We shouldn't ask that question.
It's all right.
Something that Chris mentioned, that, since when does the employee decide what hours they're gonna work? You know, if she was a full-time, that's what she is. If she wants to be part-time, it's not up to her to decide, well, I think I'll just work part-time. Yeah.
Well, again,
You
that's
don't
gonna
give me
fall,
part-time, you get rid of it.
that's gonna fall within the realms of this union negotiations.
We're just in a pickle right now, and
Yeah.
we're
We
trying to
gotta
work our
we
way
gotta
through
work
it.
this union thing aside.
Union member and sitting here and decide what hours you're gonna work.
Yeah, but we weren't supposed to. And
You
you did
can't hold,
too.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Please do.
We adjourn.
I will second.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carry on.